G'day, I'm Neil and my handle is Wiley11. I'm just going to put my disclaimer here. Whatever I do and say on these videos is well-intentioned and well-meaning advice. I accept no liabilities whatsoever for any disclosures. If you take some advice or act on something that I'm saying on these videos, you do so entirely at your own risk. I'm doing it based on my experience. These videos are my attempt to give back to YouTube for the help and assistance that YouTube has given me. So once again, you follow along or follow advice from these videos entirely at your own risk. Okay, and if you're not happy to do that, click this off and off you go. Because this is purely my attempt to give back to YouTube, as I said, for the help and advice that I have received out of YouTube. So this is just my little attempt to give back. If you're all happy to follow along at your own risk, buckle up, sit in. Let's get into it. Righto, so we're recording real quick. I've got my mate here and he's doing his job and I'm doing mine, which is I've got this little tape measure. One metre. There you go. I've had this for a lot of years, probably 15 years I've had this little tape measure. It's the handiest little thing. It goes on your key ring. And what I've managed to do, unfortunately, I don't know how well you can see it here, but I've managed to break the little piece that goes through the key to the key ring. And of course, it wasn't extending all the way. I don't know how well this is coming up either. And down the centre of it, you can see it's scratching up. So I wasn't getting 1 metre out of it, and I always used to. So it does go, as you can see there, it goes to 100. So I thought I'd do a quick service on it. And when I got it apart, I was quite surprised to see that the only spring there is that one, the end of the tape. No other spring mechanism. Completely devoid of grease, full of crap. Time to clean it. So, you heard it, you guessed it, time to get the grease. The good old fashioned, I don't know, 4 years old Castrol pot of grease that I've had for over 4 years. Just stripped it down. I'm just going to chuck some grease into it, service it up, put it back together. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come through this side here and use my micro drill and drill myself a hole through there and put a micro screw in it to hold the key ring holder. There you can see that's falling out. So here's the screw that holds everything together. That's just the outer cover. I've serviced that up. I've put the stickers back where they belong. They were all over the place, so I've put them back. Put a bit of grease into it, wind it back in, put it all back together, drill me hole, and hopefully put it all back on the key ring. I've got a 1 metre tape measure, which works. Okay, let's get into it. Alright, so what's going on here is I'm getting into it to clean it. I'm using the Zippo to clean the carcass out of all the crusty bits that were in there. I'm going to give it a good clean before I give it a bit of a grease up. Now I'm just going to leave this recording on me. Hopefully that'll be zoomed in on my workspace. Oh, almost perfect. I'm just using a bit of a box to sit things on. I got me good coffee there, look at that. Good coffee going off. Now I've already used this. I've just got a rag here. I'm going to give this a bloody going over with me rag. I don't want to break, see here, I don't want to break this. Break that, it's all over. I'm just giving that a clean out, just to get all that crusty, see all that shit that was in there is gone. There was no grease in there at all, which was why it was scratching everything up. Now when you look at this thing, you can see there's one void, which is here. And that takes this. So when you put this in, I've got to work out which way is up. I don't think it matters, or does it? Does it matter? I don't know which way matters, which way is up. Because that seems to work, and I think it'll work upside down as well. Anyway, what I need to do is add grease. Let's see if it works upside down just for the hell of it, just for grins and giggles. There we go, upside down. Yeah, I'd reckon it goes this way because you can see there's a bit of a plasticky, doogie, huggy thing, and that thing's flat, and I think that's the one that clamps your tape. It's always worked, so I don't need to reinvent it, don't need to redesign it. So let's keep it going. That looks good to me. So that's what I'm doing it that way. Righto, here we go. Bit of grease here. Now what I'm trying to do is just in this entryway here, give it what it needs. I'm just going to lift that out again, and I'm going to put some grease on the bottom of this. Okay, I know I'm making a big deal about a cheap piece of rubbish. I think someone gave me this, but I've had it for like, oh, I don't know, probably 10 years. Better part of 10 years anyway. The reason I have it for so long, so I look after it. There you go. That's working correctly. Right. So now we're to this thing, and what I want to do with my tape is behind here, behind where the numbers finish, which is here, I'm going to start adding grease. And I'm just going to put a blob on that. As you can see, I'm putting a blob on it. And I'm going to get me top, front and back, and get me rag and just run that down with me rag all the way down there. Now here's me rag. See if I can drop it a couple of times for good measure. Now I'm going to knock this off the table, knock it flying no doubt, so I'm just going to put that somewhere where it's not going to go flying. And that, and this, they're all ready to go. All this is serviced and ready to rock. And I've got my grease on there. I've just got to find where it is because I put it somewhere. Here it is. I just want to thin film of grease over it all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to do this a couple of times. Right down to the spring. Right. Thanks, Charles. Righto, mate. Now that grease, I'm going to run it through my fingers as well. What the hell? Look at that. You can see that mark right down the centre of the tape where it's been rubbing on itself and rub the paint off the tape. And what we want it to do is we want it to be nice and lubricated. Going to get some on my finger. Look at this. This is a real mechanic. Mechanics will be proud of me. You'll be all cheering. Look at this. Grease on the fingers. Here we go. I was doing it with a rag. Why bother? You got fingers. Just as long as you don't cut yourself. That's the danger here. I've got eye protection on because if that thing flicks around it can get you in the eye. You don't want that either. What I'm going to do, I don't waste my grease, I put it back in the... Look at that. Some people, well, you got a rag there, fella. Yeah, I know I got a rag, but that's useful grease. Why waste it? There you go. That's all the way down, right down to the tippy tip. You alright, mate?
Oh,
you got your soldering done over there?
yeah, I was looking for, do you have any washers? I need more washers.
Washers?
Yeah.
As in packing washers?
Yeah.
Did you lose some?
Well, no, they only came with one, but I reckon we need more around it because it's the actual, the green earthly one is much bigger than the screw.
If I've got any, they'll be in that top tray of that toolbox.
This one here?
Yeah, up top. Right up top.
Right top.
There'll be a packet of, if I've got any at all, they'll be, actually, I'll tell you what you can use. If you look up to the right hand side there, where the scissors are hanging, in that bay at the top, that bay, in the bay,
Oh, yeah.
there's some plastic washers you should be able to get onto.
Oh, okay.
There's a bag with some plastic washers in it.
Yeah, I'm thinking metal because I want more contact on the green On the earthly.
Geez, you're not real hard to please, are you? The answer is yes, I've got some. They're downstairs in the lockup.
Okay.
So we'll have to go down there and raid them out of the lockup. But that's okay. If you don't mind giving me a minute while I finish this,
Yeah, go ahead.
I can pause this video and we can go down and grab it. I've got that to a point where I've got grease everywhere now, and I want to get it in the thing before I get grease all over the place.
Yeah, you keep going. That's fine.
Alright, so now that we've got grease everywhere, fellas, we don't want to get it all over everything. So what we want to do is wind that in. So I'm going to just put this in loose into its slot. As you can see, that now springs itself out nice. And I need to wind it, I don't know, might be easier to wind first, spring second. Now, I don't think you need this to be too tight. It might have been that this thing was sprung in way too tight. So you do need to hang on to it. It's all slippery now because I've put grease all over it. I can't get a good grip on it. That's my excuse anyway. It keeps popping out on me. But I'm just going to wind that on. I don't want it all over the tablecloth. I don't care about getting it over my clothes. That's fine. I definitely don't want it all over the tablecloth. The idea is to pop it in so that it takes up the space inside the tape carcass there. I've already put grease in there. Just while I think of it, I'm going to put some more grease into here. I want it to be able to get right into that carcass. Right? I want it to have lots of grease on it. And I'm just going to keep winding that now. As you can see, I've got a nice tight coil going. I'm going to wind it on till I've got it wound on. I'm just going to sit it in situ. And then we're going to go have a look for some washers for Charles. Downstairs in the lockup. I know I've got them in, I've got a box of screws and things down there. I've always said where there's a will, there's a Dr. Smith and a paranoid robot, alright? It went straight over his head, he didn't laugh, I don't know. Why do I have mates like this that don't laugh at my jokes? Yeah, I've always said where there's a will, there's a Dr. Smith and a paranoid robot. That was the comment.
Oh, okay.
Went straight through the keeper. I'm nearly there, I'm whining for all I'm worth, my fingers are not as nimble as they used to be. I'm actually happy with this because this is going to go for another 10 years. Because there wasn't an ounce of grease in this tape. There wasn't any grease in it. With a bit of grease, at least it doesn't bind up on you, you know. And we should be able to extend it all the way out to the 1 metre point. Still winding, here it goes, still going. Hopefully it's in focus. I'm getting there. Getting there. It's going. Which way's up? That's the next question. And make sure I get it the right way up. So that's going to be up. It's going to be that way. I'm just going to leave that tag coming out. See if we can get it to go for us. Come on, you thing, go. It's in there. It's in there. Alright, let's get it together real quick. It's sitting there in situ. Just want to get it together and then we can head off downstairs. It's all greasy now. And there it is. Back together. Look at that. It's all greasy. I've got grease all over everything. You can give it a wipe down. Now you use your rag, put your grease away before you get grease everywhere else. I'm almost done with this thing. I've got two things left to do. I'm going to use my micro drill, and I'm going to put a hole through that. And then I'm going to use a bit of a micro screw through there, right, through my hole to secure my key ring thing. Here's my screw to secure my tape. We're going to give it a quick test to make sure she's going to work. Phillips head screwdriver on it. And see how good my thinking is, eh? It'll go for another 10 years, hopefully. There she is. Pull it out. Come on, out you come. Oh, she don't want to go back. I've got it too loose. Okay, well, I'll do it a few times, but now I can pull it out to the full 1 metre. But you don't want to go back in, look. I'd reckon if I do it a few times, it's going to find out where it needs to go to make that springy. You know, it's just not springy enough. I might need to put a few more turns on that spring or something, but I'll pull that apart when we come back upstairs and I'll go again. Alright, so problem is, it comes out, doesn't go back, you've got to push it. And we can fix that. All good. What, have you lost screws there, fella?
Well, I was wondering if I might have, because I reckon there was another washer lost.
Well, we can go downstairs and we'll raid the washers and screws kit. Righto, on pause. Righto folks, we're back. So the problem here is that I've got to put a few more turns on this. So I'm just going to very gently and gingerly lever this apart again. Righto, here she comes. And I'm going to pull that out as if I were using it. To make it go tight. Trying to get it tight in the middle is what I'm trying to do. Now that's definitely gone real tight. Right. And while holding it, I'm going to remove it one more time. Just going to pick it up. Come on, don't unwind on me, you mongrel. It's all slippery because I've greased it up. Not good. Right, I'm under it. See if I can get it out of there without killing it. Come on, if I kill it, I'm all over. All done. There you go. Now we start winding again. And for those of you who didn't catch the procedure on the first go round, it's about the most boring piece of crap you're ever going to look at. Because all I'm doing is winding and winding. And if I let go of it or miss it, she's all over. I've got to start again. So I'm going to pause that and I'm going to go for it. I'm just going to wind it up in a tighter ball. Righto, so we've had a minor disaster. Broke, snapped off at the centre. It's only a minor disaster because we can recreate it with a good pair of pliers, which I think I've got one of those handy. So let's have a crack. Where's that pair of pliers? Oh, are you using it? Oh, go ahead. So what I'm going to do is use my pliers now to recreate something good at the middle. So there it is. Just bend it over. It'll hook into that thing. There you go, mate. And we'll start again. So the way it'll work is it'll hook in like that, with that going around that like that. Okay? See what's going on? And we've got to start all over from scratch. Here we go. I'm going to pause it and pick it up when it's back in situ. Righto, so what's going on is we're better than we were. We're at 2 feet, and that's now retracting beautiful. But what I found is that 1 turn released off the spring equals about 2 inches more. Now we're at 2'2", so now I have to very gingerly get this apart again. I'm going real easy. If you breathe when you got it apart, you're going to lose the lot. Now that's coming up, so you've got to go real easy. Where's the spring? Where's the spring? Yeah, I did that upside down just for good measure. You've got to make sure that your spring stays seated. I'm going to back it off another turn. So what I'm going to do is unhook it and let it come off another coil and hook it up again. Right? And let it come real gingerly back into the spring. Then I'm going to set everything back in situ and we're going to go again. Right, so that's got to go back in there. Don't breathe, anyone. Here we go. Put that back in. All this it was a freebie. This was a freebie. Some of you go, well, why don't you just go get another freebie? Well, I've had this for 10 years. I don't retire something just because it needs a bit of a service, right? Don't breathe. Don't touch it. Here we go. Put it back on before you lose it. Real ginger. See how that doesn't bind up there? Now here we go again. Yeah, another 2 inches, see? Another 2 inches. So every turn, it's still retracting nice. We get another 2 inches off. We haven't got that far to go. So now I'm going to pull it apart one more turn, one more time. Upside down. Jesus, it's determined to do the wrong thing. I'm going to release another one. Here it comes. Just letting it come. And one more. I figure if I've got to push it a little bit, I can push it a little bit, right? I just want to make sure this doesn't do the wrong thing. I'm going to let one more come off. Whee! Nearly lost the lot. Righto. So there's our 2 turns. Back in the thing. I don't know where our thing went over here. Everything's trying to tell me that it wants to bugger up. Everything. I'm holding this now. It's slippery as hell. That's gone into the wrong place. See? Everything's trying to do the wrong thing. Every single thing. You're going to do what I want you to do, sport, and that's that. I'm going to let you go in there and retract. It should still retract. So here it comes. Just going to let it sit there. Don't breathe. It's going to unwind and uncurl and do all sorts of things. There it is. Don't breathe, anyone. Don't breathe. Here we go. We're going on. If it doesn't bind up, we are done. I'm not going to... Oh, it's bound up on something. Hasn't gone together. See that? Bound up. If it comes apart now, I'm done. It's going in the bin. Not my nature to do things like that, but you've had your chance. I don't need you binding up on me. You know what I might do is I might pull that out until I get it. Don't know what to do. I want it to stay bound like that so I can get this on. I'll start over there and I'll let it go, hanging onto it a little bit as I go. Maybe if I pull it before I push that up. Come on, don't bind. You're binding up. It's probably going to do what I want it to do. But you can see here I've got a problem. It's bound up on something. Something here. It's just not happy. And I'm not happy because it's not happy. See this piece of crap that broke off? That's what all the problem was about. Right there. Everything's going where it shouldn't. If it ungoes, yeah, see that? That's what's going wrong. It is just not happy. It's going right back up to that. What I need to do is I need a second set of hands is what I need. I need it to stay out there somewhere. Put that on first maybe. Get it quick. Come on. Did that just do what I want it to do? Come on. Oh, go in. I'm forcing it. It is not happy. There it is. It is happy. There it is. We got her. Let's see what we can extend to. You know what? It's an inch out. It retracts. It's doing what it needs to do, kinda. It's not quite 1 metre yet. But you can see there, that's working beautiful. 32 inches. What do we need? 36. We've got 4 more inches. Each turn is 2 inches. Do I chance it one more? I'm going to take 2 more turns off it. Each turn is 2 inches. We've got to get to 36 inches, which is 1 yard. Each turn. Coffee. Enough's enough recording. I'm gonna take a couple more turns off it, put it back together, and call it done. Okay, so what's going on is I've got this to a point where I've called it. I've put the screw back in. I'm getting more than I was getting. Right? So at 37 inches, 3 feet and 37 inches, I've got 95 centimetres on that, and you can see there it's retracting and it's not binding up on anything, and I called it. I ended up unwinding about 12 turns in all to get to there, and if I unwound it any further, I was getting to the metre. Actually, as time goes on, I reckon that will unwind to the point where it'll give me that metre. I'm at 96 centimetres. I've got 4 centimetres to go to make it to the metre. And over time, that time I got to 98 centimetres. I reckon that'll give me a metre over time, you know, and that'll go for 10 years now because it's got grease inside it. It's not binding up. Comes back beautiful, look at that. Lovely. Now the only problem I've got left is I broke this little plastic piece of crap that goes between that and that to put your key ring on. And what I'm doing is I've got my handy dandy kit that I bought on eBay for like $1 of screws. You can see here I've got a 6mm micro screw, and here it is. Right there. One 6mm micro screw. And I've got a drill bit and a micro drill set that I bought on eBay for I think about $2. Here it is. This is my micro drill. It's a hand thing. I can't go too hard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole through there and put my micro screw through it and call it done. And then that's been serviced. I can put it back onto the keyring piece and I can screw the piece through it now, and if I ever want to get it out I can unscrew it. I don't have to worry about unclamping and breaking stuff. It can just be unscrewed. I've got a micro screwdriver set that I can use for this. So the next thing to do is to figure out the width of this, and I've got just the tool for that job too coming at us. I'll just use this one. So I want to know what diameter that screw is. And we're going to hit on, and we're getting nothing. Here we go, we got on. Make sure we got some, there we go. Going to zero it out. Open it up. close it up. 1.11 millimeters. Righto, so off. It'll be ready to go next time I want to use it. That's all been greased up and serviced. I did that recently. It's working like a charm. I put a new button seal in it too for good measure. Right, so we need a 1 millimeter. I'm going to tip these out onto the board. I'm sick and tired of digging through them. Let's hit on. Okay, I'll give up. On. Don't tell me I've got to pull this apart again. Ah, there we go. Okay, what's going on there is when I push my hand down on it, there's obviously a loose connection in that. That needs servicing again. Rightio, 1.1 millimeters. Let's go with that one there. That looks like a good candidate to me. Right there. 1.18. Ooh. I think close enough's good enough. 1.18. If I go any thinner, .88. I know I've got a 1 millimeter there somewhere. 1.3. That's getting bigger. What's this one? That's me 1 millimeter there. I think I'll stick with the 1.2. 1.2 millimeter. I'll stick with him. It's as good as it's going to get. I'll go through the top one with the 1.2 and I'll go through the bottom with the 1. How's that? Let's call it half and half. Is that the 1? Yeah, that's me 1 millimeter. So it's me 1.2. And everything else can go back in that bag before I lose them. Righto. And all you do here is you mount your drill bit in your little holder. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Well, guess what? That's going left and that's going tight. Righto, so there's me drill. Going straight into it. Not standing on any ceremony. That'll cut me right through it. Now you can't push too hard. You push too hard, you snap your drill bit. But you've got to give it a bit of force. Here it comes. And yes, I've got a Dremel, and yes, I've got power drills, but these work better. That's taken off just as much as you need to. You know what? That's squeaking. Shouldn't be squeaking. Once you get them started, they normally go straight in. But if you push too hard, you'll snap something. You don't want to be doing that. I'm almost to the point of getting the power drill. I've got a PCB drill out there. No, here we go. We got it. Here she comes. Righto. Can't believe how long this has taken me. That should cut that like a knife through butter. That just goes to show you, just how hard and tough that surface is, you know. I guess I should clamp that to the board. I'm going to give it the beans. I'm pushing down fairly hard on this now. I'm a little bit impatient. There it goes. See, that's what it should have done for me before. And just while I got it in there, I'm going to get it started on the bottom one. So I've got a through hole situation going on. You can see there it's started. Right. I need to get it to the point where I can start it. And then I'm going to put the 1mm in it to finish it with. So I'm going to take this one out. And the reason for that is I want that tread to bite into the other side. Lefty loosey. Yeah, except lefty tighty. I'm going left, see? It's tightening. So here's my 1mm bit. Now this one, if you push too hard with it, you'll definitely snap it. You don't want to be pushing with any force through that hole. And you can see there, I want to make sure I can see daylight behind it, so that when I put my screw through, that's cutting it. Cutting it. We're getting it. We're getting it. Yeah. Let's just see what happens when I drop this screw in here. It's about what I thought. So I can put the chain through, put my screw through, into that, wind it in, job done. See that? I've got a pin through it. And that's a Phillips head micro driver job. I've got plenty of them. All I need to do is make that sit in there, which it will when you put the cover over it like this. And there you go. And you can see that that'll keep that in there anyway. So life's good. That's the end of that. And there's your tape measure, all ready to go. Probably don't even need to screw that in with any kind of force. And then when you want to get it out, all you got to do is take it out of the sleeve. I'm just pushing here and here, squeezing it out. Comes out. You know what, you probably don't even need to screw that in. That'll probably just do the job. Just going to put that back on the chain and call it done. Let me pack these drill bits up. Job done. Righto, so that simple little small job ended up being something of a nightmare. So tool maintenance. Definitely not as easy a job as it should have been. This little tape measure I've had for the better part of 10 years. It was a freebie, but I've used it on many occasions and it's got me out of trouble. And the problem is that over time you can pull it this far and you can pull it this far and you couldn't pull it any further. And what's going on is up inside here in the carcass of this yellow part of it, there was no lubricant of any kind. And of course the tape was rubbing against itself, getting worse and worse and worse. And now you can see I can get that all the way out maybe you can't see, 38, 39 inches. Trying to show you that you can get it out to the full 1 metre. Hang on. I'm going to see if I can show it to you that you can. There you go, 100. That's the full 1 metre, and she retracts. So that little bit of maintenance will see this in good stead for another 10 years, I reckon, because it's now got grease in it, right? It's got a layer of grease that it actually goes in and out. Does a good job. The clamping thingy works. Doesn't hold its thing as you might expect from a cheap little bit of tape, but it's got so bloody handy if you just want to get a quick measurement on something and say, oh, well, that's roughly 180 or 280 or whatever, right? So if you say that's 850, you go, well, 850 is there, mate. 850, that's a standard door. 850. 700's a narrow. 700 is a half door, right? 850 is a standard door, and an oversize is 1.2. And you can put it up there, you can go, oh, no, she's only 850, mate. That's an 850 door. I can't tell you how many times that got me out of trouble. Or you can put it up and you go, oh, it's a 1.2. You know, she's a 1.2 door, mate. You can go there, you can say, oh, yeah, she's about 1.2. It happens, you know, like if that's on your key fob, right, or if it's hanging around in the glove box or wherever it's hanging around, it gets you out of trouble, and that's what it's for. Now I've got the little labels back on it. You can see it was a freebie. It was given to me by somebody. I don't know. But I've had that, and I've carried that in favour of the toolboxes open because my mate's just gone and things are everywhere. I need to do a clean up. I've lost some tools. I've lost some drill bits, and I'm not real happy with myself. I've put them down, and I don't know where they've gone. But I am happy that this project got completed, and that that's now got a it's got a jeweler's screw through that holding that on, so that's actually more secure than it was with that bit of plastic rubbish. It went for 10 years, but it was all brittle as all shit. It was actually about to let go. So I was quite pleased that I found that, and that I've now got that chain, and that's not going to let go, and it's going to stay there probably for another 10 years. I'm in a good place with it. Now, why do that, you ask? Well, it's 10 years old, and it'll go another 10 years, and I'm used to it, and I know that if it's there, it's in the glove box, and I can get it out, and I can do a quick measure on something, and I go, yep, that's whatever it is, and away I go. And I don't have to carry my Fatmax. Let me show you the difference. Here's my Fatmax tape. This is my Stanley Fatmax. It got maintained the other day too, and this is a beauty. She's an absolute beauty, this one, but she's only metric, yeah? I didn't know that. She's only metric. I thought my Fatmax was dual, SAE and metric, but no, she's only metric. That's been all lubed up and ready to go again. The one that survived the longest is actually this one. This was a cheap handyman tape that I bought years and years and years ago. Home Improvement, look at this. You know where that came from? Tim the Toolman, that's where that came from. Yeah, Home Improvement. These were a special that were put out, I think, by Bunnings. Now this still works, right? And it's got metric and imperial on it. It's got feet and inches, and it's got centimetres and metres on it. And that's the reason that survived. And that's an 8 metre, 26 footer. Right, and that's still going. And the reason it's still going is because I look after it. All my stuff, if you ever pick up anything around my place to use it, it works. Right, don't know what it is. If you need it, and you need it in a hurry, you need to pick it up. Even this old leveler, right? It's perfect. This is a perfect bit of kit. It's perfectly aligned. I rub it back to make sure that there's no crap on it. It's got a little ruler on it, you know. And again, metric and imperial. Don't matter what you pick up around my place, if you pick it up and use it, you know it's going to work correctly. and I'm a bit pissed off at myself for losing those drill bits. I don't know where they went. I'll find them. So I'll cobble this together, chuck it up on YouTube. I want to shut this video off. Thanks for watching. Make good decisions, do good things, keep swinging. I'll see you at the next one.